It seems like everybody nowadays wants to move to Charlotte, North Carolina. In fact, there's over 100 people every single day moving to the Charlotte area. But many people don't want to move to Charlotte, North Carolina in particular. They want to move to some of the great towns and suburbs in the Charlotte area. So we've already reviewed some of the best suburbs that you can find in the Charlotte area. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time and actually review the 7 worst suburbs in the Charlotte area, so stay tuned. Hi guys, my name is Josh Finigan, team leader with the Finigan Group, powered by eXp Realty. And today we're gonna specifically focus on the worst suburbs in the Charlotte area. If you guys are interested in watching our videos on the best neighborhoods in Charlotte or the best suburbs in the Charlotte area, I'll put links to those in the description below. Before jumping in, I want to reiterate that when we discuss suburbs, we're not talking about neighborhoods in Charlotte in this video. We're talking about some of the surrounding towns in the greater Charlotte area. And I'm sure you guys are saying, Josh, can you even tell us what the worst suburbs are? And the answer is yes. But to do so, I'll need a little bit of help. I'll actually be reviewing an article put together by Roadsnack.com where they ranked the worst suburbs in the Charlotte area. And as we go through this list, I'll give you a little bit of background on each of these suburbs and give you my thoughts on where they're ranked. And as we go through this list, I would love to hear from you if you either live in the suburb or the surrounding area. Comment below with your thoughts. And guys, don't get mad at me if your suburb is on the list and you disagree, right? I'm just reviewing the list put together by Roadsnack.com. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at Roadsnack.com. I'll put a link to the full article below. And guys, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned until the end because you're not going to believe what made the list for #1 worst suburb in the Charlotte area. So let's go ahead and jump on in with number 7, which is Clover, South Carolina, which does hit a little close to home because that is actually where I'm from. That's where I was raised. I graduated from Clover High School. Roadsnack gave them a score of 4 out of 10, and they said that it made the list because of the high unemployment that you can find in Clover. And Clover, South Carolina is a little bit more of a rural town, and it hasn't really grown as fast as some of its neighbors like Fort Mill, South Carolina, but Clover has seen a ton of growth in recent years. I was only 11 years old when my family moved to Clover, South Carolina, and they only had one stoplight in the town at that time. And they have seen a lot of development and growth in that short period of time. There are still quite a lot of rural areas in Clover. It's kind of on the outskirts, but right around Lake Wylie has seen a lot of development and growth, and a lot of people are moving there and building. It's kind of right on Charlotte Highway when you go over Buster Boyd Bridge. It's really kind of starting to be known as a Lake Wylie rather than Clover though. Not to mention, Clover has some great schools. A lot of people love moving to Clover for the fantastic school systems. They also like moving to Clover to get a little bit more bang for their buck. You're gonna see the average price point be a little bit lower. So Clover is a little bit more rural, but in my opinion, it is a great place to live, and you're gonna see a lot more building and development. I mean, right now, I don't even recognize the place anymore because there's been so much growth in Clover. So I would definitely check it out. I think it's a pretty cool spot.
Hey, Charlotte, North Carolina homeowners, are you curious as to what your home is actually worth? Because what you think your home is worth and what your home is actually worth can be two completely different things. Since January of 2019, home prices here in Charlotte have increased by 64%. However, since June of 2022, they've decreased by about 12%. So if you are just a little bit curious on what your home's actually worth, click here, fill out your address, and you will get your home's value instantly. We have one of the best programs that will keep you fully up to date every step of the way on what your home's true value is. And if you would like a full in-depth analysis on what your home is actually worth, all you have to do is fill out a little bit more information and we will reach out to you personally and give you a customized comparative market analysis on your home, what your value is, and it's absolutely free. And guys, even if you got your home's value a couple months ago, it's probably already out of date. So if you want to find out how much equity is in your home, how much cash you're currently sitting on, all you have to do is click here, fill out your address, and you will get an accurate, free, and instant home value report on your home. And if you have any questions, we're here to help. Looking forward to hearing from you soon.
Number 6 on the list is Lowell, North Carolina. It's a small town right near McAdenville and Gastonia. Roadsnack gave it a 5 out of 10, and they said it was on the list mainly because the low income level and the high poverty rate. Now, to be completely honest, I'm not super surprised that Lowell ended up on this list, but one thing I do know is it won't be on this list in the future. There's been a lot of growth and revitalization in the Lowell area. For one, the location is fantastic. You're only about 35 minutes outside of Charlotte City Center. You're super close to places like downtown Belmont, downtown McAdenville. You're pretty close to the lake as well, so you can really get to anywhere you want to go to have that fantastic lifestyle if you live in Lowell. And Lowell hasn't grown as much as its neighbors like Belmont, Mount Holly, or McAdenville, but what I've found recently is a lot of buyers are getting outpriced of those cities, so they're starting to look at Lowell as a good alternative. And guys, your dollar definitely goes a lot farther in Lowell than some of the surrounding communities. You can definitely get a nice single family home under $300,000 in the Lowell area. And there is a ton of development going on in Lowell as we speak. They just broke ground on the Riverfront Park and Public Works facility. There's gonna be a lot of super cool things to visit once they have that complete. They're actually gonna connect their walking trails to the Carolina Thread Trail. There's gonna be a super cool amphitheater. There's gonna be volleyball courts, a splash pad for the kids. It's gonna be an awesome place. It's gonna really revitalize the town. So I'm definitely not surprised Lowell made it onto this list, but if you are looking for a town that gives you really great proximity to the Charlotte area at a fantastic price, then you may want to check out Lowell. And in my opinion, obviously I don't have a crystal ball, but you'll definitely see a lot of price appreciation over the coming years. Number 5 on the list is China Grove. It is a rural town northeast of Charlotte City Center. Roadsnack stated that the lack of amenities, lack of infrastructure, and the low housing prices really landed China Grove at the number 5 spot. But in my opinion, I mean, that's kind of the appeal to China Grove. A lot of people either love moving to China Grove or living there because it has that more quiet and peaceful lifestyle they're looking for. Maybe they want to get out of that hustle and bustle of the city, get a little bit more land, get a little bit more privacy. They're going to find it in China Grove. Plus, when you call China Grove your home, you're really only about 45 minutes from the Charlotte City Center, which really means that you can live in China Grove, get that peace, get that quiet, get that rural lifestyle you're looking for while still working in Charlotte. So you're definitely gonna find a lot of vast open farmland in China Grove. You're gonna find a lot of forests and really be surrounded by nature. So is China Grove right for everyone? And the answer is no, but I do know a lot of people that really kind of want that more rural, quiet, and peaceful lifestyle, and that's why they choose China Grove. With that being said, you've definitely seen a ton of growth and development in China Grove recently. They actually just approved a 364 lot community called Noah's Run. Macy's is also building their very first automated fulfillment center right here in China Grove, which will actually bring about 2,800 jobs to the area. And a lot of the residents aren't a big fan of the growth because they want to preserve that rural lifestyle that they love. But China Grove will definitely start seeing that infrastructure and those amenities come with time. Number 4 on the list is Monroe, North Carolina, and I'm a little surprised Monroe actually made this list. It really is the up-and-coming town in Union County, but there's been a ridiculous amount of growth and development in the area. Monroe is starting to become pretty darn desirable in its own right. Roadsnack blames the high unemployment and the low salaries for Monroe's position on this list of the worst suburbs. But guys, there has been a ridiculous amount of development, new communities coming in, especially with that toll road bypass. It's super easy and quick to get to the Charlotte area, allowing a lot of people to move to Monroe and still work in Charlotte. With the new toll roads, you're easily about 35 to 45 minute commute to Charlotte City Center. And I know a lot of residents have started looking to Monroe as a strong alternative because it's very attractively priced than some of the surrounding neighbors. And you still get to have access to the great Union County school system. So when you compare it to like Matthews, Indian Trail, and the Waxhaw area, you're really gonna get a lot more bang for your buck in Monroe. And guys, I'll tell you, I am personally really excited about the Monroe area and what its future actually has to hold. I recently purchased an investment property to add to our rental portfolio right in Monroe. I think there's gonna be a lot of appreciation in the coming years. Number 3 on this list is Lincolnton, North Carolina. It's just northwest of Charlotte City Center. Roadsnack blamed the fact that it really doesn't have many entertainment options, not many work options, and there's a high dropout rate for the high school as some of the reasons why they ranked Lincolnton so high on this list. It's pretty interesting they stated the lack of work opportunities in Lincolnton, frankly, because what I find is a lot of people that want to live kind of in these towns around the Charlotte area choose to move there, for one, because their dollar goes a lot farther. They can buy a lot more home for their money, and they may just want a little bit slower of a lifestyle. They may want a little bit more space from their neighbors as well. And then what they do is they commute to their jobs in the Charlotte area. So it's interesting. That's kind of what a lot of people do. They don't usually work in these towns. And I personally really like Lincolnton as a town. It is rural. You have some rural aspects. You can definitely get a little bit more acres to have space from your neighbors, but it has a really cool downtown area that has a lot of shopping and dining options. So you're definitely going to be able to kind of have that place you go to without going all the way to Charlotte all the time. And again, there's a lot of growth and development in Lincolnton. And guys, the Charlotte area is growing, so there's a lot of growth and development in a lot of these communities. But for one, Bosch is actually building a plant out here and actually bringing about 400 jobs to Lincolnton. But Lincolnton is still a very nice, close-knit community, and a lot of people really love living in Lincolnton for the lifestyle it offers. And it also has a great price point, especially when you compare it to its neighbor, Denver, North Carolina. Number 2 on the list is York, South Carolina, and guys, Roadsnack was pretty harsh with York. Roadsnack says York is home to Kmart, Big Lots, and gas stations. I didn't even know Kmart still existed. They also blamed York's ranking on the low income levels as well. And again, York is a little bit more rural. It's a little bit farther away from Charlotte City Center, which may be one of the reasons why it ranks so high on the list as well. And if you look at York County in general, you're gonna notice that places like TKK, Fort Mill, and Rock Hill have seen a lot more growth and grew a lot faster than their counterparts in Clover and York, and it's frankly because their access to the Charlotte area with their main artery of I-77 going straight through those towns. York doesn't really have a main access to the Charlotte area, so you really have to kind of drive a little bit to get to I-77 to get to Charlotte, which means you're gonna have a longer commute if you live in York and work in Charlotte. But again, a lot of people really love York for the rural aspect, for being a little bit farther out there. And again, you can get a little bit more bang for your buck out there, you get a little more space from your neighbors, and you still have access to downtown historic York, which is super cool, fantastic, and there's a lot to do as well. So York is a pretty cool place. A lot of people love living there. It's just a little bit more of a rural lifestyle. So I could definitely appreciate York being on this list, and it's not just because they were our rivals in high school. It's because it's a little bit farther out there, a little bit more of a difficult commute to get to the Charlotte City Center. So I could definitely see that, but I don't agree with it being number 2 on this list. So guys, number 1 of this list definitely surprised me, and I really don't agree with it being number 1, if on this list at all. It's Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Roadsnack blamed the fact that it has a low income rate, low housing prices, and a high unemployment as the reason it made it as number 1 on the worst suburbs in the Charlotte area. And I personally really like Kings Mountain. I think Kings Mountain has a lot to offer in its own right. Now, you are a little bit farther outside of Charlotte City Center. You got a longer commute, but it really kind of stands as a town in itself. You don't really need to go to Charlotte. You have a bustling downtown area that's seen a lot of revitalization and growth in recent years. You also have Moss Lake in Kings Mountain if you want to enjoy that lake lifestyle that so many people love and strive for. And they're building that casino that we all know about as well. So there's a ton of growth and development we're seeing there, but it's still a super cool place right now. As I reviewed this list, one thing that I found as kind of a main theme throughout a lot of the places they chose to be the worst suburbs in the Charlotte area really were just more rural areas a little bit farther outside of Charlotte City Center that just didn't really have much infrastructure yet. But a lot of them are seeing a ton of growth and development in the area, because obviously as Charlotte grows, people kind of expand outwards. And again, a lot of people really love the fact of these places being more rural. It's one of the draws to people moving to some of these suburbs we reviewed today. So guys, I'd love to hear from you though. Comment below with your thoughts. If you live in these areas, know of these areas, or live around these areas, I'd love to know what you think about these suburbs that made the list. If you are interested in seeing the full article put together by Roadsnack.com, I'll put a link in the description below. And remember, this is not my personal opinion of the worst suburbs in the Charlotte area. If it was, I wouldn't put my hometown of Clover on this list. I hope you guys got a little bit out of this video, and if you are considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate, myself and my team would love to be your real estate resource of choice. So feel free to give us a call, email us, text us, whatever works best for you. Love to sit down, see what you're looking to accomplish, and how we can help. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.